Chapter 8, The Rule of Threes. We need to move fast. I say mostly to keep myself focused. The treasure obviously isn't going to be in this room. That would be too easy. That means we need to either find a key that will lead us through that door, or a different door. Agreed, Wes says. A lot of escape routes have multiple exits into the next room. Hannah marches across the room to a narrow metal staircase in the corner. I'll look up here. She takes a few steps up, stopping when I reach through the bars and snake her leg. Wait, we need to stick together. There could be trapdoors in here. We can't risk getting separated. I glance back at the hole in the floor. Or hurt. Besides, Wes cranes his neck to look at the ceiling. This definitely isn't the way. Look. I follow his line of sight until I see what he's looking at. The staircase reaches the ceiling and then just stops. A stairway that goes nowhere? Why would they do that, Hannah asks, coming back down the steps with a huff. To throw us off, I mutter. Fun houses are supposed to be confusing, and this... I wave my arms at the strange nowhere-to-go staircase. This is confusing. Normally I love escape rooms. They take my mind off the real world and all the bad things waiting for me at home. This house is different. I'm not just doing it for fun. I'm doing it for my mom, and for my dad, and Sean. The triplets were tricky, Wes says, but not too tricky for the Deltas. Here's the plan. Hannah and I will look for other hidden doors. Sarah, you work on finding another key. Deal? I nod and shake off my nerves. If we have any hope of finding this treasure, we need to focus. I need to focus. West immediately begins pounding at the wall. Thump, 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 thump. I know that pounding. It's a sister call, the pattern. Back when we first started doing escape rooms together, we missed a lot of important clues because our search was too chaotic and haphazard. So we got organized and created our own system. We used it to look for all kinds of hollow spaces and secret passages. West starts up as high as he can reach and pounds his fist on the wall all the way down to the floor. Then scoots over a foot and does the same thing. Hannah follows his lead and starts at the opposite end of the wall so they will eventually meet in the middle. It isn't always fast, but it's foolproof. One of us always comes across a section of wall that sounds different. Empty. And that's it. That's the clue. I take a step back from the scene and think through my plan. How am I going to find hidden keys in a room that has already been so picked over? By thinking differently. The William Taters and Arthur Conleys of the world may have gotten in, but that doesn't mean they had the skills to get far. The Deltas do together. Letting my eyes flutter closed, I imagined the room when it was brand new. Gleaming floors, bright red and white walls instead of fading wallpaper. Where would the triplets have hidden another key? Where would I have hidden if I created this funhouse? My mind snaps back to the wallpaper. They used the stripe pattern to hide one of the doors. Maybe they could have used it to hide keys as well. West, I need your backpack, I say, rushing to his side. West stops pounding on the wall and shrugs it off his shoulders. Setting it on the ground, he waves his hand at the dust that billows up. What's wrong? Your batteries aren't low already, are they? Oh, no, not that. When do you think black lights were invented? His jaw twitches as he thinks. No clue. Why? Because if this funhouse was built in the 50s, they might not have had fluorescent paint yet. But if they did, his eyes widen, then they could have used it to camouflage doors. Or keys, I add. My palms get sweaty with the idea. I dig around in West's bag until I find what I'm looking for. Our special flashlight. Most escape rooms provide them, but I think they're so cool that I convinced West and Hannah to chip in with me and buy one of our own. Instead of shining at a normal beam of light, these flashlights shine ultraviolet light, and ultraviolet light is excellent at revealing hidden objects. Starting on the other side of the room, I slowly shine the UV flashlight over the walls, stopping to examine anything that sticks out. There's a few random stains that show up, gross, and a splatter that looks exactly like someone sneezed on the wall. Grosser! It's the third thing I find that takes my breath away. The outline of a key. The key is nailed to the center of a red stripe. It shows off bright purple, but when I turn the ultraviolet light off, it blends in perfectly with the red. No wonder no one has found it yet. Most people don't carry around UV flashlights. Thank goodness the Deltas aren't most people. Setting the flashlight on the floor, I grasp the key and wiggle it until the nail is loose. And then I pull it off the wall, marveling at the red paint they used to camouflage it. West is right, the triplets were tricky. I open my mouth to yell about having found the key, but Hannah erupts into a squeal. She's jumping around so excitedly that her hair flops over her face. I laugh as I jog her in her direction. Maybe in another life she was a sheepdog. What is it, West asks. Look, she says, her breath coming out in shallow pants. I was pounding on the wall, then I must have randomly hit another button because this opened. She taps her sneaker toe next to a section of wood that's missing. Just below the surface is another door, bigger than the Willy Wonka one, but still barely large enough for a human to fit through. Snaking an arm around Hannah's shoulders, I give her an excited squeeze. I can't believe you found it so fast. Hannah grins. It's dazzling, that smile. Even on my worst days, when everything is going wrong with Dad, Mom is like panicking about the bills, and Sean is stressed about college applications, Hannah and her smile make me feel better. Today her smile makes me feel confident, like we might actually be able to do this. West drops down to all fours to examine the door. Hannah does the same. My eyes glide over it, noticing that it has hinges on one side and a grab-type handle on the other, like a cabinet. I think, remembering what West said about one of the triplets being adopted by a family who owned a cabinet-making business. Hans. I run a finger over the wood, still smooth and pretty after all these years. Maybe he had something to do with that. The thought is oddly comforting. Different symbol, Hannah says, blowing a puff of air onto the floor to clear the dirt. What is that? Not a wishbone, that's for sure. Looks like a book, maybe, I answer. Wes squints at it. No, not a book. I think it's a deck of cards. He shines the regular flashlight directly on the symbol. I can't make all the tiny images, but I can see one for sure. The Queen of Hearts. Interesting. If the wishbone we saw before was meant to signify luck, then what would a deck of cards mean? I add both wishbone and the deck of cards to the notes I'm taking in my head. Not that I need to wish Weston his freakishly good memory. I just feel better if more than one of us is keeping track of important details. Hannah is great at a lot of things, like finding hidden buttons and doors, but details isn't really one of them. Opening my palm, I hold out the key I found hidden on the other side of the room. Hannah shrieks. Try it, Wes says, his voice crackling with excitement. With shaking hands, I line the key up with the first lock on the door. It won't go in. Second lock, same. Third lock, the key will go in, but it won't turn. I fight the urge to throw it across the room. What good is a key if we don't have the matching door? We have to be missing something, I think out loud. My eyes glide from the triangle flags dangling above us to the broken mirrors, then over the locks on the doors we found. That's when it hits me. Everything in this room is in groups of threes. 3 mirrors, 3 locks, 3 sides on the triangles. Even the triplets themselves are in threes. Oh my gosh, they use the rule of threes, I say. Wes's face is pinched like he's trying to recall a formula. Is that a math thing? Not exactly. I learned about it in English. Basically, the idea is that most things are memorable if it's in a group of 3, like 3 blind mice, or Goldilocks and the 3 bears, or even the 3 little pigs. I look around this room. Everything is in threes. The mirrors, the locks, everything. That means since my key doesn't work on either of the 2 doors we found so far, there should be one more door hidden in this room. Yes. Hannah jumps up and dusts off her kneecaps. We use that in dance, too. We used to. She goes quiet for a moment, the way she always does when she talks about dance, and then lifts her chin. Our instructor always said that 3 movements back to back are more satisfying for the audience. Looking at my friends, their eyes lit with excitement, I realize that locks, doors, mirrors, and flags aren't the only things following the rules of threes. We are too. The deltas. I stand up and clap the dust from my palms, an odd feeling of calm settling over me. I know the triplets probably didn't care who found the treasure, but part of me is excited at the thought that this could be the best clue we found so far. Maybe, just maybe, the funhouse has been waiting for us.